She's had a really flashy job in London and is now living the country dream, having the baby, got the little cashmere cardigans and the wooden pegs to hang up on the washing line. It's all very sort of fashionably countrified, and she's struggling a little bit, but the bookshop kind of gives her a key to how to find happiness in this new life for her.
And when you're writing these characters, are they based on people you know? Are they sort of an amalgamation of people you know?
I think it's very difficult to take people that you know in real life and put them into fiction. They never really quite fit. They have to go through a sort of transformation process that involves making them fit the story that you want to tell. And it's impossible to carbon copy. But it's great to take sort of little characteristics of people, whether it's physical features or habits or personality traits. Yeah, all of those people will have come from somebody in real life. Because where else do you get it from?
Yeah. And throughout your writing, is there anyone that you would say is closest to Veronica?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I suppose there's little bits of me in everybody, or little experiences that I've had in everybody, but I don't sort of try and replicate myself particularly, I don't think. Okay. But yeah, it's all come from my head, I guess, so.
And what does your writing process look like when you've got a day ahead of you, you know you need to write? What is it? What do you do?
It's sort of not super organised. I worked in TV, so I'm very used to storylining lots and lots of characters. That was kind of, I was trained to do that. So my brain works in that way, in that I can keep a lot of storylines going in my head. So while lots of writers have things written down and wall charts or whiteboards or post-it notes, I don't tend to have too much of that. I just kind of mull it all over in my brain. I've started to write a few things down. I might have a few post-it notes on the wall with the key plot points just to keep me on track. Because my memory is getting fallible as I get older. You go back and think, I had that brilliant idea. What happened to it? So yeah, I plan it out, and then I just really start writing and then see what happens. Because although it's quite nice to plot things out, it's also great to actually write. I kind of have this thing that people are so busy plotting and planning that they're never actually writing. And when you actually just let the words go, that's when the magic kind of happens and things take over. If that doesn't sound too sort of fairyish. And do you ever have an adventure?
Yeah. Do you ever have days where you're like, just it's not happening today?
Oh my goodness, yes, yeah. Absolutely, totally, yeah. What often happens is you have a really good run and get lots of things out, and you get to your next plot point, and then you kind of tire yourself out. You have to sort of rest and recharge a little bit. And sometimes if a story's really not working, that it sort of comes from experience, learning to recognise when something's not working and then throwing it in the bin.
That must be hard, right?
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah. But, I say to people, cutting is writing. It's still, even if you have to cut 5,000 words out, if they're not working, then that's part of the process. So it's not wasted time. It's not like you've wasted 5,000 words. You've written 5,000 words that didn't work, but you will have somehow subconsciously probably figured out how it will work.
Interesting.
So yeah, it is. It's not a smooth process necessarily.
Yeah. And did you always want to be a writer?
People often ask me that, and I always loved books. I was a bookworm, archetypal bookworm. I didn't really have any other interests, which is a bit tragic, except cooking, I suppose. So, and I found a book the other day when we were moving house, and it was Black Hearts in Battersea by a writer called Jane Aiken. It's a children's book, and I opened it up. And on the flyleaf it said, Black Hearts in Battersea by, and I'd crossed out her name and written mine, Veronica Henry, underneath it. So I guess that kind of indicates that I did want to write.
And you spent so many years writing for audio and TV, and the thing I really want to ask you about is your time working on The Archers. What was that like?
Oh, it was just awesome. I think I was probably about 20 when I got the job. It was a production secretary, which involved typing out the scripts. It used to take 2.5 hours to type out an Archer's script in those days. No computers. It was on a proper typewriter. And also being in the studio and recording the episodes. It's the production secretary's job to make sure the timings are right. So you have to time each scene and keep the director sort of saying, oh, we're overrunning, because it has to fit into 15 minutes. But also you'd end up doing crazy things, like you get a phone call saying, we need the noise of some newborn piglets. Can you get a sound engineer and go and find some piglets to record? So you'd be off doing something completely crazy like that. Because it was a very small team. It's not like a TV show when you have loads of people doing, individual jobs. Everybody just sort of mucks in. And it was great because it's, everybody loves The Archers. So it was like working in a little bubble, really, of escapism.
And what was it like?